Symprove is a unique water-based food supplement, an extract of germinated barley and our bacteria growing in very high numbers on a water delivery system, and that's a key thing.
The goal is simply to get healthy bacteria into your gut. It will then encourage your own healthy bacteria to grow and establish as well.
It allows good bacteria to flourish, bad bacteria can't flourish, and so it allows your gut bacteria to rebalance.
This is called Barry's story time because he really couldn't make it up. I was a market gardener and had a small beef unit, and I got very concerned about what was in the concentrate pellets that were being fed at the time. So I copied a French idea that they'd originally stolen from the Romans apparently, which was to germinate grain and get an increased feed value from that germinated grain. But it became mouldy very, very quickly. And so a marine biologist friend of mine said, look, if we were to use bacteria that are working in cascade, we can get the pH to drop and essentially pickle the grain. But once we'd done that, we realised that there was this huge health benefit to the livestock. Two pretty eminent vets said to me, Barry, you've got to take it to people.
We first encountered Symprove when it was being used in a clinical trial at King's College. So we added it to our testing, and we discovered that it's very protective against stomach acid. None of the bacteria seem to die. So from a science perspective, we were very interested in why that is, and that's something we've focused on over the last few years to try and understand why Symprove protects its bacteria when other products don't seem to. Once you get the Symprove bacteria into your gut, they produce things called short-chain fatty acids, and without getting too technical, short-chain fatty acids are food substance for your healthy gut bacteria, and that has all sorts of benefits for your general health. We then got hold of Barry and said, your product looks amazing, can we come and talk about it? And then as a consequence of that, we've published a number of papers, we've talked at a number of conferences, and we've done a lot of work with the data and what we've found.
I've actually been using Symprove for 11 years, but I've only worked for the company for 4 years now. So I've seen it from the customer side, of course, as well as the company side. It's not just a job for me, it feels more like a vocation just because of the effect the product has had for me in terms of changing my life. People are beginning to understand now that gut health is very important because your gut affects so many other parts of your body. Our biggest growing base of customers now are the healthy, and that's simply through education, people understanding that their gut health is really important.
When I first met Barry, we had a meeting of minds on the science. I had an inkling of where we were going with the product. But the other impressive part and the important part of the equation is that there was a man who truly cared. He brought himself up as a farmer and truly was kind of nurturing and making all this effort on behalf of just doing the right thing and doing it in the right way. Everyone really, really cares about what we do. And that goes back to the relationship we have with our customers, is we get so much feedback where we've really, really made a difference. So some people have been struggling with issues for years, and then suddenly they bumped into us and they found they can move on.
So we germinate the barley to a certain size, and this is added into boiling hot water to make what they call a wort. It's water with nutrients from the germinated barley, but we do it in such a way that doesn't add gluten. Once the wort has been made with all the ingredients, they'll put them into fermentation tanks, and the bacteria is added separately. Every time that we make product, we will take samples that will go off to an independent lab to be checked and verified that the right amount of bacteria is inside. It also has to meet the right pH levels. Once it's bottled, we will also send off samples to the lab just to make sure that everything was okay, make sure that the levels of bacteria are still high, and just to keep us happy that we know that there's nothing happened to it in the bottling process.
They get very good consumer feedback. And so when we've tested that product, we find it's a very effective product in terms of delivering live bacteria. And so it's almost like working backwards. They started with a product which was very effective, and now we're trying to understand why it's effective, rather than doing it the other way around when we try and design a product to be effective. So I've always found them to be a very open company, open to new ideas, open to looking at science, and open to trying to understand how their product is actually working. What we've found is that you deliver Symprove, but then your good bacteria, they multiply in number. So if you test after a couple of weeks, all of your good bacteria have gone up, and that's a good thing.
There is a real buzz about what we're doing as a company. The people that are joining us also become very enthusiastic about the product as well, because they understand what we're doing. And it isn't just a run-of-the-mill everyday product, it is a product that's really making a difference. My team literally take hundreds of calls a week, and they really could be anything. It could be somebody that wants to discuss how Symprove can help them. And we generally don't mind people ringing us and just giving us feedback about how they're doing with the program. We are changing people's lives on a daily basis, and how can you not be nourished by that? It's just a fantastic feeling.
We continue to increase production here on site. We don't want to move to a great big industrial unit. We'd rather just be really efficient here. The key thing for us, though, is sustainable growth. One of the things we do need a lot of is power, because when we brew our product, we've got to heat several thousand litres of water in kettles. And a great way to assist with that is to get solar panels involved, because we should be able to pull most of our power from there. Of course, packaging, recycling, we're constantly pushing and trying to find ways to allow us to use less materials. They're all recyclable anyway, but ideally you want to use less.
When you read the testimonials that you get from customers about how you've actually changed their life, it can bring tears to people's eyes. So when you're making a product that helps people that much, it's hard not to care.
Well, the vision is unbelievable. As demand for Symprove increases, I think it's fair to say that everybody that works with us is excited about what we're doing, and they can see the good they're doing, so it's very rewarding work.